Hey everyone, how are you? Well, first of all, I got my hair done. What do you think? Oh yeah, new color. Good for winter. I like it. I love it. I think it's really pretty. And it's important for some upcoming projects that I have, so I cannot wait to share those with you. But for now, um, I got a question a little bit ago from Steven Anderson, and I wanted to answer it, but I thought it would be easier to do it in a video than to write out the answer. But thank you for your question. It was a really good question, and I'm happy that you asked me it. So let's get right into the answer. The question that he asked me was, what are my, or who I guess I should say, are my musical influences? And there's actually a bit of a backstory to that, which I'm sure any artist could tell you, because the music that you make is a culmination of years, like all the years that you've listened to music and all the different people that you've heard, and you have tons of different influences that come together to make your sound. But I do have a bit of a story to explain how I got to where I am now with music. And before I get into that, I can start off by saying that my music influence starts with my mother. I grew up listening to the type of music that she loved, and I grew to love it myself. My mom is a lady of the 80s, so there was a lot of 80s music, and she's also a huge fan of 60s music, so there was a lot of that, British Invasion, Herman Hermits, that type of deal. And there was 60s and 80s were my main influences growing up. In fact, when I was a kid, my favorite song ever was When You're Gone by Bryan Adams and Mel C. I used to call it Sporty and the Guy, actually. Like Sporty Spice. Oh man, memories. So anyway, so that was the start of my musical influences, was just listening to a lot of British Invasion and a lot of stuff from the 80s, like, rock music. So it starts there, but where my story comes in is when I got into high school, the type of music. Now, I always wanted to be a singer, and I always wanted to do music, but I was feeling a little bit discouraged in high school because the type of music that was on the radio was not the type of music that I wanted to pursue. Like, it was very electronic based, and guitars and drums and bass were becoming less and less, and it was becoming a lot more EDM. And I appreciate that, and if you love EDM, I think that's great. But for me, I'm always a rock girl, a guitar girl. So it was a little bit, disheartening, because it was just like, does anyone else like rock music? Is it just me? And the fun part about it is my mom introduced me to a new band when I was in high school that I hadn't heard before, and that band was a band that changed my life forever. And that band is the Ramones. I don't know if you've seen on my page, I am a huge Ramones fan. I've been for many years now, and it started in high school when my mom showed me them, and she's a fan of the Ramones. She saw them twice in concert, so jealous. But yeah, so the Ramones really opened me up to sort of this new sound of, even though they were from the 70s, it was just the sound I never heard before, where there was heavy guitars and the drums, and it was really fast paced, and the music was fun, the lyrics were fun, it was short and sweet, and just really great songs that you can dance to and rock out to and sing along to, and that you listen in the car in the summer, and are just really fun, awesome songs. And that really opened up my mind to the idea that you can still do really fun, awesome music, and that music was not dead. They really inspired me a lot. And I found that there was a lot of other Ramone fans around the world, and I realized that there are a lot of people out there who still like rock music, punk music, all that kind of stuff. So that was really inspiring, and that really spurred me on to for writing my own songs the way that I write them. So basically, at the root of everything is the Ramones, just their style of music. I love the way that Joey wrote songs, and you know, he was very influenced by the 60s as well. So, you know, it's just really, really awesome, and I have him to thank. If I ever could, you know, meet him, that would be the most amazing thing in the world. But unfortunately, all I have is Joey Ramone Place in New York, so that's definitely a place I want to go. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So it started there, and then from the Ramones I was branching out into other kinds of music that came out in the late 70s. The late 70s was a really pivotal time in music because there was a lot of glam music and art rock and that kind of stuff happening, and the Ramones and the other bands of that time were this wave of people who wanted music that was upbeat and fun and fast instead of the art rock that was of the time. And that's kind of how I feel now. Is, you know, there's been a lot of EDM out there, and I'm really interested in fun, exciting music. So in a way, I feel like the Ramones, that I'm just trying to put out music that I love and that I want to hear. So after branching out from the Ramones, I started listening to a genre that's called power pop, and it's based in pop rock music, and it also came out in the late 70s, and you can kind of hear it in Sheena's a Punk Rocker by the Ramones. But you know, if you listen to bands like the Raspberries or Cheap Trick, you could even say the Cars a little bit. They're kind of new wave, but power pop too. And that really inspired me a lot, that genre of music, because I just really loved the construction of it, the melodies, everything about it I just really, really loved. So that's what actually really inspired We're Meant, is very power pop influenced, and I had a lot of fun making that track. So and then the other people that influence my music would be Josie Cotton and Pat Benatar. Pat Benatar being one of the greatest rock singers of all time, and Josie Cotton being a huge power pop, new wave singer. And my mom introduced me to her when I was a kid, and I've loved her ever since, and she's really, really cool, and her music is amazing. I would suggest that you check her out, although it's really hard to find her music, but once you do, it's definitely rewarding. So that's just an example of some of the people who have inspired me to make the music that I do. I'm very heavily influenced by the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And you know, I love it, and I'm so happy and thankful that I have the opportunity to make the music that I'm making, and that you guys also love the type of music that I make, and that you guys like rock music, and we're keeping rock music alive. Once again, thank you, Stephen, for your question. I hope I answered it. And if anybody else has any questions, you can comment, or you can private message me, and I will answer any other questions you have. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all again very soon.